consistently. So maybe don't knock it until you desperately need it, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I have a full understanding of it because it seems to be predominantly about organization and putting things into place.
It's efficiency it's outcome driven efficiency.
Oh,
Yeah, it's constructive logic. So it says you have a goal, your FI wants something, and you ask TE, you're like, how can we get this done? And TE comes up with a plan.
okay, then yeah, I'm still in the process of getting in touch with that, but it's kind of brutal because when I'm in that state of mind, it's like I'm trying to learn to not be as selfish about it because it's like FI is predominantly, it comes from a very self-focused state of mind. And when TE comes out, it's just cold. It's like, I don't want to be cold. I just want to do things, but I want to be considerate to how others might be impacted on that situation.
TE fulfills TI. TE fulfills FI is how I see it.
Yeah.
Like oftentimes, like, so for example, I have this INTJ friend that on several occasions I've been looking for, like, oh, you have this TE, like, this is exactly what I need. Will you work on me with this project? And I run into that problem where there ends up being like this ego thing that goes on, and it's related exactly to what you're talking about, I think. Like a natural conflict that emerges even there.
Yeah, because you want to challenge it with like TI, and you want to show them why something won't work, and then they've got TE, and they've got like FI, and yeah.
Right.
So they feel like, no, we've got to do something and put this into this.
Right. Whereas I'm thinking about like, oh, this won't work if we do this, and then they're like, no, we have to, this is what has to be done, and then the whole plan falls apart because, if I was being the mastermind and they were trying to help me enact stuff, but then they are like, no, this this is the way it needs to be now. I've seen it now, and then everything goes to shit, right? That's that's my experience. I don't know.
So TI just kind of kicks the wheels on a lot of things to make sure that things are efficient.
Yeah, it's kind of like a practical versus a theoretical, I think.
Oh, okay.
Builds it. TI
looks for problems, and TE looks for results.
Right.
And TE looks for solutions. So when you get them together,
not necessarily solutions, like because it's singular almost.
Yeah.
TE is constructive, and TI is reductive.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have TI and TE in the same room at the same time with the same strength, they'll stop altogether because TI will keep reducing the actions that TI is going to fuck up TE.
Yeah, and this, for example, like this INTJ friend I have, always afterwards, he's always way more pissed than I am, and I think that's the reason why.
Right. Well, and FITE is also trying to manifest in the world something that they feel should be there. So they're going to kind of always be a bit more, at least in my experience, emotionally jolted up.
Yeah, and invested.
Right. TIFE.
yeah. And for me, it's kind of, I need to master like the practicality because maybe that's what TI is for because, whenever I get an idea, first I get an idea through NE or extroverted intuition. I'm just like, okay, I have this great idea. Then it goes through FI and it's like, yes, this feels great. Then T is just like, yes, let's go and let's do the idea. And that's when I usually fuck up. And then I'm just like, shit, I should not have done that because I need to compare all these things before I do.
I can empathize with you on that. As an INTP, I guess.
Really?
For sure. Because I, have all these incredibly intricate ideas that, if put into action, in their idealized form, would be, just amazing, right? But then when it comes down to the actual nitty-gritty of enacting the idea and continually, having the stamina and the sense about, managing your own energy and all these kind of things, like, that's something that's completely, foreign to me, and that's usually where things fall apart, which is why I'm always looking for people to try and, synergize with me in that respect. But that's something I've been having, difficulty with.
And I relate to the unbridled sort of excitement that your functions produce. Ooh, this is exciting. Let's do this shit. Oh my God. I'm in the hospital.
And then, like, you realize that, you're like $522 in debt on your credit card, and you're like, well, I should not have done that because now I'm in debt and now I'm going to have to pay that shit off.
Yeah, Chloe doesn't have the not actually starting it problem. She has the getting it started before TI has given its approval problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
we
then
get stuck in TI.
It's already happening by the time you need to use TE, I guess. So you're just
Yeah, TE just like takes off, and then later there's like this. It sounds like Chloe, you get this inkling of that was a bad idea, which is TI chiming in way too late.
Yeah, it's like a pang of fuck, I'm fucked, shit.
Cut up your credit cards.
It's a good idea.
I mean, that's not what I do, but
maybe TE users should.
Because I don't ever know if I might need them again.
I just get so spend happy because then it's just like, oh, I've got money, I can get it. And then it's just like, oh, I don't have money. Fuck.
Yeah, I slow everything down and put it back into context.
Yourself. Neptune, I love that.
I say that. Yeah. I understand what you need to do way better than I can do it myself.
I need an ENTP financial advisor. That's what I need.
I need
Nobody needs that.
I can advise the shit out of your finances, but you don't need an ENTP financial manager, probably.
No, yeah. Advice, yes. Actual doing it, no.
We understand the system far better than we're going to implement it.
Then I need an ENTJ to manage me, but then if I'd had that, I know I need it, but I don't necessarily want it because then it's just like I want to be free to do whatever I want. That would be my FI speaking.
You do not need an ENTJ to manage it.
We should try and determine what the ideal life coach for each type would be. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I just need several ISTPs around.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't need coaches, just minions.
I could get like the one that I'm dating right now to come in. Maybe.
What, for me as an ISTP?
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Then hand him over.
No, but like he isn't with me now, but like I mean we're kind of dating, but I don't know. Like I'm really hesitant to commit myself to
okay,
anyone.
I don't care.
Yeah. Just change the topic. Okay, anyway, back on track. See, I feel like, ENTPs can at least stay on the same topic and be content with it.
If it's interesting. And if it's not more, if it's interesting, and if it continues to be more interesting than any other topic that might come up during the discussion of the topic. So it's really easy to stay on topic when you start talking about your boyfriend maybe thing. But if Audra started talking about guns, you want to talk about guns?
Always.
Audra, you're drinking Starbucks.
Yes.
I could tell by the green straw. You could just have a green straw, but I can
note, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay, Okay, this is a serious question. Chloe, you're an ENFP. Have you had the unicorn drink?
Yes, I have. Afterwards,
Did you like it?
I loved it, but then afterwards,
I
I
knew
found
it.
out
I
about
knew
the
it.
sugar thing.
It was designed for ENFPs. That was my theory, and you proved it. Okay, that's all.
I looked at the sugar content, and I've seen this thing that's been going around Facebook, and it's just like, okay, yeah, it has 79 grams. If you get the large one, it has like 76 grams of sugar in it, which is kind of fucked up. But afterwards,
Zero is always the best number of sugar in your coffee.
Exactly.
Sugars in anything.
Because there's not as much room for coffee if you put sugar in it.
But like the one that I got had 59 grams of sugar, and I was just like, fuck.
A performance
grams relate to grains, and bullets are measured in grains.
Well, I know about bullet grains, but like I care how big my bullet is. I don't care how much sugar is typically in the pop I'm going to drink anyway.
Exactly. That I was segueing there.
Right.
A bit ham-handedly, but
I mean, I think that
that was TE in action right there. That was TE in action.
That was some good double team supreme on that one.
It's like a pizza.
No, what?
It's like a pizza.
Now you have to explain that.
I don't know. You said supreme, so then I imagined a supreme pizza with like all the toppings, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm hungry."
I was using a supreme and not pizza way.
I know, but then like for some reason, my brain was like immediately pizza.
Because it's lunchtime.
Yeah, it's 3:08 here. Wait, do you live in Tennessee or something?
Kansas.
Okay. Really?
Yes.
Okay, so then like how often do you like think about the Wizard of Oz instead?
Like literally never.
Never. I was gonna say this. You're gonna say never.
We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. That's it.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, because like they lived in Kansas, a twister came along, and it, like
people never say that to me. Like, as someone from Kansas, when I meet people outside of Kansas, I never hear that.
That's like the ultimate MK Ultra film and parable ever.
Sarcasm was that dry. That it was very wet. Sticky.
I never really.
I hear it all. I hear it all the time. But I don't remember what I was going to say.
Is Ken really an INFJ?
I think that he's an INFJ that's being raised by ENTP.
That's being what?
Raised by ENTP.
Okay.
Are both his parents ENTPs or what?
No, but his first social network.
Just being in here? Okay.
He just doesn't come across as like an INFJ, though. You know what I mean?
In what way?
In what way?
Like Lightbulb has her NI game is down. I think that Ken is still gathering experience and data points probably necessary to his NI. It would be my just from the hip theory, not really knowing enough about either of them.
Yeah, it's quantity rather than quality at the moment.
You just had a deja vu.
Out there.
There should be a type of ice cream called Deja Vu, and it should have like a psychic cow on it.
There is one.
There is Deja Vu?
There's Deja Vu. Google it.
Okay, I'm gonna Google it. Deja.
But yeah, I mean, just
I'm not seeing anything for ice cream though.
Oh.
Yeah, they don't have it. Fuck.
Search blue waffle.
I already know what that is. That's nasty.
I think it's an ice cream flavor too.
No, it's not.
I don't know what Deja Vu is. Like, I don't think I have Deja Vu.
Oh, I think they do have it. Okay.
I mean, I don't think I've either not experienced it or I'm constantly in a state of it.
I don't know if it's an actual thing. It looks like it's just a project, whether it's a major U.S. brand, regional nonprofit, or an entrepreneur just getting started. From package design to corporate identity to book covers and beyond. I just wanted to read it all to you.
I know. That's why I stopped.
Yes. I'm just going to paste it there. You can check it out.
Thank you. Somebody explain Deja Vu. Audrey, do you know what Deja Vu feels like?
I don't know exactly.
There's a
Maybe
theory that
it's like when the closest thing I can name is like when you go a place and you're like, I for some reason know that have seen this place even though I haven't been here or something like that. Like
I've heard a neurological explanation, and it's that like your conscious part of your brain is like
it's like two parts are out of sync.
So
in time, and so like you think that you're thinking about right now, but then there's like the sensing and the thinking is out of
there's some
sync.
kind of like synapse
And so it's
delay or
confused.
something. And that for some reason you think that like what's happening now just happened to you like a little bit ago, and so you're like, oh, I have this sense that like this has already happened, even though I'm experiencing it right now. But I don't know.
I mean, I understand it that way, but I don't recognize the feeling. Like I
don't really either. I think maybe once in childhood I felt that way, and then I never, that was about it.
I don't know. It gets confusing because within you is like you've thought of so many things, and then occasionally things that you encounter, I think you've thought of before or something close to it. I think that's what I experienced. It's like, oh, I thought of something.
Memory is so malleable anyway that like,
something then randomly in he goes back and he goes, SI goes, hey, I got one of those.
People's weak memories is a serious advantage if you need to pull that trick. Like, yes, I did. I did it on Tuesday. Remember? I gave you that thing.
Like, the power of suggestion. Yeah, you can just.
I usually get it the other way. It's like, oh, we told you that, and I'm like, no, you didn't. They're like, yeah, I'm sure that we informed you of this important. Like, that's why we're, wondering why you're not dressed to go to this funeral or whatever.
If more than one person in the group agrees, then your chances of overwriting that person's memories are really high.
Okay, I have to go see my boyfriend, but I love you guys.
We love you.
Bye.
Just happy to prove my unicorn Starbucks thing, ENFP theory, right? Or at least, no, it has not been proven incorrect at this point.
I find it interesting that an ENFP would enjoy hanging out in here.
Yeah.
A glutton for punishment, perhaps.
Satanism.
Chloe's NE is fun though.
I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying I think it's strange.
No, but I'm saying she has a lot more to play with.
I was going to say that, Chloe's, it's a nice dose of confusion. You're like, wait.
Do you think that more? So hypothetically, we don't have a whole bunch of Chloe's. Is that because Chloe's don't find things like this naturally, or because Chloe's wouldn't last in things like this?
I think part of it is that we kind of push them out, honestly.
For sure.
And this is, I haven't been like a part of this group, but I just mean like based on what you guys have said and like kind of like the typings that I've seen this happens like, for example, like among like physics people, right? There's like it just happens, right? You kind of just especially when you have really strong like positions, you can kind of like, stand your ground, and then they kind of are just like, whatever, I'm just going to go someplace else and plant my seed elsewhere, like whatever.
I don't ever find physics people, so I would not have used that as Are you a physics person?
I've just spent a lot of times around physics people and done research in the physics department and stuff, but it's not my major, so I don't know. Yes.
I like doing physics research in my own, but I never got along with physics people very well.
There's a good mix. Like half of the physics people are just like kind of like ADHD types that are like kind of eager but like not super organized and stuff like that. But then you also get like a lot of assholes that are like convinced that they're like a fucking genius and everyone else is an idiot.
And everyone else is an idiot. Those are the only ones I've ever ran into. Because you get with them, I'd be like all enthusiastic, be like, "Yay, physics!" And I know more than I appear to know because I'm,
Yeah.
It doesn't always come out. The team doesn't always come out first,
But I found that the physics students that are the more arrogant ones are actually overcompensating because they're overcompensating for their lack of social skills, for example, like in high school and stuff, where they were constantly like on the, they didn't have any upper hand, but now that they're in this prestigious sense where they, it's like, I'm going to actually, grow up to be successful and invent things, you plebs, that they're, it's a reaction.
Yeah. I've had bad encounters with physics students and teachers, like literally since the beginning. Because I did a science fair project when I was in, when I was like, I guess it would have been like 15 or something, 14 or 15. And it was in the physics thing, and I had all these grad students. And 2 of them thought I was brilliant, and the other one didn't like me because they didn't understand what. Yeah, they didn't know what. They literally didn't know what I was talking about. But it was funny because they came and then they convinced me that I was wrong, kind of in the short term. And then I like sit there pondering, like, oh no, this is what they misunderstood. So I went and like chased them down and brought them back and explained how they had misunderstood, that they were conflating 2 similar terms, and this one was just a little more specialized. And then they came back, and then the 2 thought I was brilliant. The one finally comes back, and they're like, "We won't give you first place because we don't know if you're right, because we don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, I mean,
so that was my. So and then it just from then on it was like, we don't care about your ideas. Do something that's already been done, or if I was doing like a research project,
so,
I'm like, no.
I'm lucky at here, like the physics department at my university is relatively small. They don't have a graduate program and stuff, so there's not. Everyone's there is really focused on like getting people to learn and not making people feel like shit. And so
I
it's
think
like
the physics department where I went to school had a sum total of 1 person, and I encountered them once, and it wasn't a good.
and they're probably used to being the smart, quote, the smartest person in the room and all that kind of crap.
And
so,
I know a theoretical physicist, like it was a professional, like theoretical physicist, or I think maybe he was an experimental physicist, and he's still kind of annoying, even though I know him pretty good now.
We've met a lot of like chemistry people through a friend, and I don't know, he introduced me to like all of his chemistry lab people, and they're really confident in themselves. But then when you start getting into abstract areas, they don't really, they're kind of off balance there.
This is my main criticism, because I'm a chemistry major first and foremost, and for whatever reason, chemistry attracts people that don't like mathematics, abstraction, or thinking visually. And so it's a rare breed to see someone, or a professor even, that has like a good visual memory. It's very like a lot of them have like term memories, like they associate words with things rather than like objects or like physical representations, as opposed to like physicists who are trained obviously to always have that like physical representation. And part of it is like, chemists had no idea what they were looking at until recently, right? Or what they were working with. They had no idea of like the actual geometry. It was all like guesswork. So that's part of it. It's like a cultural thing, but also like the people that, for whatever reason, like math isn't really taught very well either in chemistry. So it attracts people that like that already have been shied away from like math and those other things, because the other hard STEM fields, like they think are going to be too difficult because there's like too much math. So, I don't know.
Interesting.
It's funny. My brother's thinking about doing a degree in chemistry and history, and possibly, and also getting his professional pilot's license, and maybe a little forensics on the side.
The thing about chemistry is that the language is like so esoteric and everything, because all of it is based on like alchemical language. They won't ever teach you that in school, but it is. So it's like this whole new esoteric language you have to learn, and scheme like convention. It's really hard subject to learn on your own, which is unfortunate, because you end up with like a lot of root memorization and stuff, because they can't, they're not going to teach you like, for example, hermetic principles, so that you can like learn the allegories that allows you to remember all these connections between things. It's like they just like tell you these are the names of everything and like memorize it all, right? It would be like learning Latin roots, it's just
I wouldn't be good at that. I would immediately like be like, all right, there's got to be a system to this language. I should go find it out.
I mean, there is a system to it. It's just that it's hard to
You're gonna have to
remember
figure
because it's
figure it
not
out on
connected to anything in your real life, right? It's like complete abstract, like, you know, none of it is like any root words that you recognize, you know. It's just like, what is all this bullshit?
Interesting.
That's how it feels, you know. And then you get through
Yeah.
organic, and then you're like past the, you know, that's like the test. And it was really hard for me because it was really, the whole class was like, memorize everything, regurgitate it, like, and we're not going to teach you the underlying principles because even
That's impossible.
Well, yeah, like
Yeah.
not only would it be impossible to teach someone who's like so like not as educated, you know, on
Right.
the terms and stuff, but they themselves don't understand that because they're, you know, chemists are much more in the realm of like practicality than, for example, like a physicist
Right.
who might have like a theoretical understanding.
Right.
Anyway.
Anyway, interesting. I was just thinking, it's one of the things I never did take a chemistry class, and I kind of wish I had. It's one of those things I messed around with a little bit later.
Yeah, I'd
I haven't
say
gotten into it yet, but this doesn't mean I won't.
it might be better to find an alchemist, but good luck with that.
Oh, there you go. It couldn't be too hard from like, you know, because I would definitely come at it from a physics perspective.
Well, one of the
And
problems,
chemical makeups and stuff like that.
one of the problem is that all but the most simple molecules are really hard to represent, like in quantum mechanics, right? Because like you have to do it like computationally. Once you get to anything of any large size, like with a computer, like you're not going to do it by hand. It's like, you know, doing all this kind of stuff with a computer, and it's just it gets really like physicists hate it, right? Physicists hate chemistry because they want to deal with like 1 or 2 particles at a time. They're like, this is a 2-particle system, you know. They're very they want to keep it as reduced as possible, and it's like, oh, we're dealing with like 10 trillion particles, like let's calculate, you know. Like, so chemists have all these shortcuts, you know.
Right. That's interesting.
To make use of that because they were doing this stuff back in the Middle Ages, right? They were,
right.
And so they couldn't have like some, you know, theoretical physical basis on which to model it. It was more spiritual, you know, and observation based. Right, this leads to this. Mixing this with this makes this, and then they tried to into like what the core essence of these things were, but they couldn't actually like cut them apart and look at them.
Right. Yeah. They knew that it worked, but they didn't really know why.
Yeah, and that legacy is carried forward to today, even. And so you have like a lot of people there who know chemistry, but they don't know why, like it is, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting. This makes me curious to see how my brother does then. Whether he sticks with the chemistry idea or not.
Well, I think I'm a little bit biased just because at my school there's kind of this thing with like American Chemical Society, which is like a professional society, but they design course curriculums and like issue standardized tests and stuff. And for whatever reason, our school has decided that that's like the thing to do. So we have this like organization that like wants to control how chemistry is taught. So like the teachers have to teach like a certain curriculum and they teach like to a test. So
right. Well, still,
that
just like the general way it's going about it. He's going to a small school, so it's not like they have a real exciting, you know, like cutting edge research.
If you want to find, like, I would say for me, like the chemists that have the best idea about what's going on are actually biochemists, because most of the time successful biochemists have really good visual memories because they're, or visually thinking because they're thinking about like the geometry of like these macro molecules and stuff. And if they don't have that kind of intuition, like they're probably not going to be studying biochemistry. You know, it's kind of like I'm just like I said, I didn't take any chemistry. I did math and computer science and then some languages and stuff. But yeah, he's my brother's in the ENTP too, so it's like it's kind of fun to watch him get into college and be like, okay, you see how it goes.
Not actual deja vu, but like third person deja vu. You're like
And it's a shame because there's so much information that's like so easy to obtain when you're at college, but at the same time, it's like college experience is like this terrible like emotional abuse that like everyone has to endure.
Yeah, I always had about 2 weeks, the first like 2 weeks of a semester, where they just basically, because they're all beating and you're like, you're an idiot, you're an idiot, you're an idiot, and you're just like, I know I'm not. Stop saying
Well,
it.
it's more than that.
And then after like 2 weeks, they'd be like, okay, I'm okay. I am still like I knew that I was smart, but it's like I now have some evidence, so I can kind of like sleep at night, and then I can stop listening to all of you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's more like just the continual coursework, and then like the stress of accumulating all this debt that most people are, and like all this other kind of stuff. And then they're like, how is any of this going to be, practical? And they spend all this money. It's just like, it's like an abusive environment, but unfortunately, it's like the place to like learn shit.
Yeah, and I skipped most of that. I had a no debt policy.
Right.
I was much more like I acted a lot more like an INTP, kind of introvert, and like I didn't really hang out with people or anything. I like went and did my stuff and went home.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I saw it though. Just the other people, you're like, really, you're not going about this very smart. But yeah, the whole college experience, the whole idea of like a college experience, it seems weird.
Oh, what's the difference between chemistry and biochemistry? So general chemistry is like more about like smaller molecules, and biochemistry has to deal with like kind of the larger macromolecules that exist like in your body. So like the more complicated machinery that allows you to do all of what you're doing, to live and like that kind of stuff. Like those molecules are more complicated and larger and more they have all these moving parts and stuff that are being studied by people, and yeah, that's the difference. It's like a specialization. And they like work with biologists often, but like biologists themselves like don't really have any understanding of chemistry. So biochemists are like fulfill like a vital role, and they make a ton of money. Like a lot of biochemists end up going into like pharmaceuticals, which is unfortunate because they sell their souls. But, Anyway, we've talked a lot about that. What were we talking about before? Something about
scaring away ENFPs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I tend to do that just by being cold, even sometimes. Just by like not immediately like returning the enthusiasm.
I do that, but I think we do too with poking and prodding them too much, and then they think that we're intentionally like
trying to get them to erupt. Yeah.
No, but it's special to them. Like they were specifically poking them. We're like, no, we're just poking them. But they do sometimes, I think, give more opportunities for like prodding.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what's going to happen. It's like we only keep the kind of, like masochistic ENFPs. Somehow enjoy the constant TI attacks or whatever. Yeah, there's been a couple times like with Chloe that I was like, got in a debate or something afterwards, and I'm like, I hope she didn't take that personally. But also, I'm not sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's in our youth, have you been harmed by such personalities? I'm just curious. Like in mine, I definitely have. Continuing.
I wouldn't say that I've been harmed by them. I mean, I wasn't really around them much. Like I was homeschooled and lived out in the middle of nowhere, and grew up working on a farm and ranch stuff. And my dad's an ENTP, my little brother's an ENTP, my little sister's an ESTP, and then my mom's an ISTJ. So the whole like feeling thing, and then both of my families on either side are like way more like thinking than feeling. And so it's like I didn't have much exposure to any of that.
My mom's an ISTJ, and honestly, like every ISTJ I encounter, like just I get so irrationally angry. I can't like put it into words. Like it's not fair to them most of the time. Honestly, I'm just like, get away from me. Like just stop interacting with me. Like I don't Like one time there was someone that was actually like really attracted to me, and they were like, you know, ISTJs, and I just, you know, it was devastating, and in retrospect, it's pretty horrible, but I don't know, it's something about them.
Yeah,
the bossiness, the obsession with doing things the way they know, with no basis other than that's the way that they know it, and like stuff like that is just, I don't know, drives me up a wall. Yeah,
well, I think my mom, she's pretty adjusted because having, you know, decided to marry an ENTP, it balances out. Like she's still, in contrast to my dad or something, it's like really, or the rest of the household, honestly, is really, you know, about doing things the traditional way and doing things and getting things done. But she's pretty tolerant. She's amazingly tolerant, honestly. But then, like, my granddad's like an ESTJ, and I get along with him really well, but we don't work well together. Like, we do good, like, late at night when I can, like, get his innie rolling, you know, and we have, like, some good theoretical conversations. But as far as doing things, like, we do things totally the opposite. And then the worry thing. That's what I get out of, like, ISTJs and the ESTJs. It's the constant, like, worry. And you're like, what is this? And why do you have it? And just get rid of it. And they're like, we can't. Like, stop worrying.
Yeah. That's just this morning I was talking to my mom, and, you know, I have all these plans about what I'm going to be doing with my life or whatever, and I lay them out, and my dad's like, okay, that sounds reasonable. And she's like, have you thought about this and this and this and like all these other things that she's been like up at night like worrying about? And I'm just like, yeah, I've thought of that, Mom, but you know, I can't just like worry about it all the time, you know? Like
Yeah, I kind of get that, because I have lots of plans, but none of them are very, you know, concrete for very long, and most of them involve more like
when my
creative pursuits. Like my plans all end up in creative areas. Like despite the fact that I could probably get a job in like high tech industry or lots of different places, like that's what my mom sees, and she's like, well, but you could, you know, get this job, go to Austin and get a big high pay. I'm like, I don't know that that's what I want to do. Right. And I'll tell her things like, well, if I'm going to go do this after I get my master's, I'm like, I need to take a few months off of having a day job. She's like, why would you need to take a gap?
Yeah.
I'm like,
I like try and explain to her, like, I'm getting close to graduating from my undergraduate, you know, getting my bachelor's. Yeah. And I keep telling her, it's like, you know, the more and more I think about it, like, I don't really like the academic environment, although it provides like a lot of value, you know. So I'm trying to figure out one way to keep my foot in the door and one way to keep my foot out. So I have to be like kind of creative about it and forge my own path, you know. And she's like, can you just get a regular job? I'm like, that would make sense to you, but sorry, no, that makes me want to kill myself. You know, like
that's just it. It's like you don't understand. It's like it's not healthy. It's like,
sorry, like, it's not gonna work.
I can be practical and like TESI for a little while, but you know, but not forever. Like I have to just go insane every now and then. I ran it. You know, I told my dad a big thing. He's like, yeah, that makes sense, or whatever. And my mom's like, well, what about this? Like, maybe you should go get your PhD. What about, you know? And she like tries to like point me in directions that she thinks are a compromise, but they're still always like, very practical. Or I'll tell her about theories. Like I explained MBTI to her one night. I caught him, and then she didn't care at all until I told her that I had an idea to work it into my own personal like AI research. And then she's like, oh, and then you could like build this and be rich. And I'm
yeah.
Like, did she care?
Yeah.
Then it was okay that I was studying because there was this possible like TE result thing that I could use it for.
There's not a lot of appreciation for just like an idea or for like the beauty of an idea. It's like, well, that's okay.
Or learning just for its own sake. Like she intellectually respects that, like, but doesn't actually respect just learning for its own sake. Just constantly like, because she's like, well, learn it and be good at it and then do something with that. I'm like, no, learn it, be good at it, move on to the next thing.
It's like she's thinking like, oh, this is the strategy for life. And you're thinking like, I don't know, like, I want to do some stuff that's like not strategic.
Yeah. Or I want to like take some stuff where it's like I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work out, but I have faith. I trust myself that I'll make this work one way or the other. Always do, but without the like the safety net or the plan or whatever. Yeah. Or I get from her sometimes sometimes that's just not how things work.
Right. It's like they're very, very, very.
You get like this big plan. You're like, I'll make it work. Like, why? Because I'm crazy, and I will. That's why I will make it work. Because I will make it work.
They're very risk adverse.
Yes.
And I'll try and explain something like, when I'm in a rough spot, and I'm kind of like feeling down and like depressed, and it's like, and I always explain like, once I can sort out this dilemma that I'm having, everything will also fall into place because once I get through that, it's just a matter of, being flexible and intelligent and rolling with the punches and just making sure things fall into place. And it's like easy. It's more about sorting out, the emotional, framework. Yeah. And then they're like, well, just do it, just do it, and it's like, no, I can't just do it. I have to sort out my own like psychological like maze first. Okay, I gotta like.
Yeah, but isn't that what I really want to do? You're like, just do that. Yeah, it's either just do it or, well, why do you need to do something else? You're really fine, and you're like. That's where I'm at right now. I'm like, I'm really fine. I'm super comfortable. I have a cushy little job, and I could have it forever. And but then somebody asked me, like one of my kinfolk, I saw them. They're like, "Oh, you could retire there," and I'm like, like dying. I'm like, no. Hang on a second.
Well,
you live in the dorms?
No. This is just like a really cheap apartment.
Oh.
The thing is that this place used to belong to the university, and they left their furniture here. So like the bed frame and like
that's what I recognize. And like
it's just like that cheap kind of it was just like free furniture that came with the apartment. So
nice.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah. Had to work for a second there.
Yeah, I might get a phone call at some point. I'm trying to get like a summer job, and someone's supposedly going to call me, but it's Friday. I feel like they might not.
Yeah.
Just a feeling.
Yeah, I'm constantly negotiating with myself right now to like keep working where I'm at for a while, just to try to be a little bit practical.
Yeah, I'm kind of recovering from a low energy.
I'm like, I have the jaw clench. Like, I get the jaw clenched, and it's been going for about 2 months now, and it's like, it's not going away. You're like, dadgummit, I'm pretty sure I know why. It's like things are getting a little too set in their ways.
Yeah, I'm constantly having to reevaluate things. Like, I got in a little bit of a tussle with ACS at my school because, like, I had a professor that sits on the head of like a subcommittee he designs like the national curriculum for this organization, but he just so happens to be the physical chemistry professor at our school. But as a consequence, like, he knows the answers to like all the standardized tests, and since he's like evaluated on the standardized tests, he basically just like teaches to like the questions that are going to be in the test instead of teaching any concepts. And I like called him out on it, and it basically like blew up in my face. So I've been trying to I get really emotionally like blindsided by stuff like that. I guess like I let it affect me way more than it should, So I've been in kind of a period right now where I'm trying to. I'm in a chrysalis, and I need to emerge as a butterfly that can handle that asshole. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I found that I've gotten more belligerent the older I get. It's like I didn't get like more.
Right. There's only so many bad experiences you have before you start to, start to get a little bit more calloused.
Yeah. College definitely was like a big one. Like I was all kind of like had a really nice, chill. Everything was cool, and most people agreed with me, and and most people, in college is like, oh man, people really are kind of dumb, aren't they?
Well, yeah.
Like, those people that I theorized, I'm like, oh, stereotypes, and like these are like the people you saw on TV. I'm like, they don't really exist, do they? Like this is all fiction. And then you go to the real world, and I went to college, and it was like, drat, like
especially too,
I'm
like
not wrong.
Yeah.
That was it. Is you're like, they're like, I hoped that I was wrong. I accepted that I was probably wrong, and you're like, I wasn't, which is both like, dull and disappointing.
Since I've been in college, like and I've started over time, and now it's kind of like coming to its fruition. Like I've started to realize that if you have like a goal in mind, it's something you need to accomplish. Like you can't be this like hyper flexible person that's like non-conflict oriented all the time. Like sometimes you have to like very, if something that you care about is going on, right, and you want it to like actually, you want to manifest something that you're imagining, like in order to get it done, like you sometimes just have to like outmaneuver people, right? You have to like straight up just like be a politician and like mislead them and like stab them in the back sometimes as like that's like a preemptive strike.
Right. You have to do triage on.
But you have to be reasonable, right? You don't want to get a reputation as somebody, like you don't just do it to everybody.
No, you do it. You have you do it strategically when you absolutely have to.
And I don't mean like among your friends, like I don't, wouldn't advocate like being a sociopath, It's just a matter of like, for example, like if I have a professional enemy, right? Like, for example, this guy that's like trying to stand in the way of my graduation because I called him out on being a fraud, right? He's basically, that's somebody that if I had been intelligent ahead of time, like I could have completely like, set it up so that he would have been like eviscerated by like some committee or something. But you have to you have to be proactive. You can't kind of roll over if there's something that you want to have accomplished, but at the same time, like that makes me feel awful, and that's like the dilemma of my life is like trying to overcome my own reservations that will allow me to unleash and get something done. Because if I start to feel like I've committed like moral sins, right, it compromises my ability to actually enact anything I want to do. So it's like this dangerous balancing act where you have to be just vicious enough to like get things done, but not so vicious that you like trigger your empathy too hard. And then you're like, you feel like shit, and then you're like, what am I doing with my life? You have to strike that balance.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I historically probably felt worse for not jumping on some sort of opportunity versus the ones that I've actually like gone for, where I've actually like, oh, got it, taken whatever steps it took, like.
Right.
But it took a long time to kind of learn that. It's like, oh, I don't going ahead and doing it doesn't always end in like the catastrophes that I could possibly imagine, You can imagine all of these like possible reactions, and usually people honestly just go along with it. So a lot of times they appreciate somebody taking charge.
I got to address something Neptune said. College is a good way to postpone adulthood and provide yourself with a false sense of a stable future. In many senses, this is true. I even say that like postdoctoral, people that are still in the academic system, like late into their like 70s and stuff, like they've managed to stay unemployed their entire lives. It's like it is definitely like a bubble where you're kind of like isolated to a great degree. So I'd say there is definitely an element of that. To be sure.
Yeah, it's
that's a 1G song. They will help it if you want to sing along.
What's that?
just Kato saying something, being here.
Did you and Audra, Zach and Audra, did you guys develop that end of sentence puzzle out of like FE nerves?
What?
What?
Every
did
time
you
you
observe?
finish a sentence or like a few sentences, you guys do this like chuckle laugh thing.
We got into resonance. Is that what you're trying to say? A chuckle laugh resonance?
I don't know. I'm just wondering what the motivation is behind it because I noticed it's a thing.
It's
Like,
just,
You genuinely find your guys.
perhaps it was because we were talking about our mothers and they subconsciously make us uncomfortable or something. I don't know.
No, I'm saying like in an isolated setting, even if you were talking not to Audra,
Yeah.
like you would still be doing the same thing. And I
Probably.
just was curious if it was like a social thing.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like when I was younger, I had a hard time like interacting with other people, so it could be like an adapted trait to like laugh after sentences. But
Yeah.
I also, in general, like I see the absurdity in a lot of things, and I do genuinely find it funny sometimes. But I don't know. It's not something I'm entirely conscious of, so it's hard to.
Do you have an automated fake laugh when somebody says something that that you know they think you should find
Was
funny?
was that a fake laugh or a real laugh? How do you know? I don't know. I can't tell myself when my laughs are fake or real.
You should get in touch with yourself because that's scary.
No. When I laugh when there's no one around, I know for sure that it's real, right? Or maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know when I laugh by myself.
I laugh more by myself when I've been talking to people. Like it's like this, it's like FE kind of. It's like this default kind of like FE process. That's like okay, I do think I learned eventually that having a bit of a more like jovial kind of FE mode is good because the scowly like scary one gets not as good results.
Right. Well, if I'm just that's
and I am genuinely amused. Like I've tried to condition myself to be like amusement is my default react. Like I hang out in amusement land a lot.
Now that you mention that, I would say that my default way of talking is pretty flat affect and pretty much like this, but it is more of a learned social behavior for me to be a little bit more gregarious and use my eyebrows more accentuately and laugh more often. But it's not something that I consciously do. It's just like my learned social behavior, and someone might argue that all social behavior is learned, so I don't really know where to go with that. So
yeah, I would say something similar to that. Like I got a lot more when I was little, like smile, and I usually responded with a scowl. But then I started smiling, and then people started asking me what I was scheming.
I feel like I did the
It didn't work either way. Like either way, people were always like commenting on my
yeah. I had to work for a while. I had to work on my smile so it wasn't like the creepy smile. And what I came up with is that you need to make a proper coy smile. You need to smile with like half of your mouth, not like it's like weird if you're like I don't.
Yeah, well I've noticed I have this random though. Like I watched like ENFPs and we smile backwards. We don't go up. Like we're not good at the like actual like up smile. We go like this. Like our faces stretch backwards. It's like Rick script.
Oh, some people are saying it's like the difference between smiling with just the lower part of the face and then like having an animated, like reaction when you just having a full,
I think my first like FE affect was eyebrows. Like the raised eyebrow is like my actual like favorite response to everything.
Eyebrow all the time. Like someone says something that's like a little bit like okay. Like I do it all the time. all the time.
And then I have a bad one. I have like the wrinkly like nose of what the heck? Or
yeah.
I'm like, wait, no, stop, nose, stop scowling at people. But yeah, when I'm not in an FE situation, I'm just kind of like, or when I'm totally zoned out.
I have this memory from when I was a kid. My dad was like yelling at me late at night because of something I was doing or whatever, and I was trying to make like an angry face, like trying to show that I was angry. And you know what he told me? Stop falling asleep. He thought I was just like I didn't know how to make like an angry face. I don't think I just had like my eyes like.
I never thought that I had an angry face, but then people have told me that I have an angry face, and then people that I later became friends with, that like had encountered me when I was younger, said that they were scared to death of me because of the look on my face. Yeah, so.
I've gotten that more as I'm older, and like right after I've said something that's like really serious, and I'm like looking, and they're like, okay, well, I'm just gonna leave now, and I'm like, oh, I wasn't,
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to like emotionally assault you. It's just,
yeah. I've never
Just the
I've never
opposite.
really consciously done that one. Like that one comes naturally. Like the default is kind of like scary face. And then I've also like in a lot of contexts, I would say that I've developed like more of the goofy, like crazy affect. Like even in I was thinking about my martial arts because like there's a concept of like strategic affect, and I definitely played that game, and I ended up going with the either just the really calm but also kind of like sporadically insane, like that. That was always my strategy,
right.
And I think that's I've generally gone that, which is probably why there's more like giggling and smiling and just kind of manic.
That's a strategy I kind of attempted too, where it was kind of overdo the emotion and the feeling, but at the same time there's a part
I don't overdo it, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a part of me,
Add a little bit in there.
There's a part of me that's much more like creative and kind of just like we'll do some like crazy wacky shit, but I learned at a young age that like that gets you ridiculed almost, right? And so there was a period like throughout middle school and stuff where like I actively suppressed that, and that's where I got like a much more flat affect.
I was literally gonna say the same thing.
Yeah. And then I kind of reclaimed it a little bit later in a reasonable way, right? You have to be like intelligent enough as an adult to like, you don't want people to think that you're insane, like it.
And also it provides you with,
for me.
you get like a lot of power, actually, like social power from being like stone-faced, because people don't know what to make of it, so they're more careful with how they speak to you because they don't look at you as like a goofy character or something.
That's a real, if you're really going to take that approach and you're going to be like kind of like
I mean, you don't have to look angry, you just have to look expressionless.
Right. But, if you're trying to get like social utility, right, it's probably better to use emotion, right?
I think there's a lot of power in the shift back and forth, because that's probably what I do. Is I'm either like,
it depends on the context. If it's something where you need to be defensive, it's probably better to have like a flat affect.
If you're taking like the self-preservation approach, then the flat affect is best. And then if you're looking to actually like build bridges between you and other humans, then that's exactly the strategy I usually employ when I'm under a tremendous amount of stress. Right, I typically default to the flat affect, and when I'm under less stress, I'm much more likely to be out and trying to be active and like reaching over and connecting with people. So I'm more likely to try and engage people with that kind of emotional human connection rather than just like, oh, I'm going to acquire resources and maintain stability mode, when you're in stress mode, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I go back and forth now.
I'm just reading what some people are saying.
Yeah. Catch up on the chat.
I wish it was easier to tell like who was who.
Well, when they're all being blinkies, it's really hard.
Who is audio only person? Speak, please. Hello.
I do notice it was like having a like expressive like lower facial affect does like tire my face out. Like it's still like not natural.
Yeah, it's like
it's like I've gotten to where I can do it kind of default.
All this
like, it doesn't require thought, but it's still tiring. Like it's like ow.
This all reminds me of one time I
like relaxed. I'm like you'll see me I'm like stretching my face back out.
One time I filled out an application to work at Disney because they were offering this thing where you could stay there for the summer and they would pay for everything if you like worked there. And they did like the personality quiz about like everything that you do, and like, the smiling and all this kind of stuff. And then at the end of the personality quiz, they were like, nothing at Disney would suit your personality. We're sorry. And it's like, all I can imagine is just like, someone like, you or me, just like trying to smile all the time, and then just like having to take like ibuprofen and Tylenol to like have it not hurt. And like,
yeah, well, just like I've done a couple of things like where I was trying to raise money or something, and like running a booth, right? I do it now. I sell books and stuff, and you're like, you have like a booth and you're like greeting people for like I've done it for